Hey, beautiful ones. I want to thank you for joining me on episode 4 of Moving the Mountains podcast. Again, my name is Trishina Barzar Hunter. I am a certified transformational life coach and emotional intelligence coach. I have a master's degree in psychology, and I am focused on helping individuals get past crisis, trauma, illness, pain, and really move forward, create transformation, positive change, and move towards their purpose. And in that spirit, for Transformational Thursday, I want to take a few moments and celebrate the accomplishment of a good friend, one of my sponsors and supporters, Mr. Romany Malco, and the production of his film, Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison. This movie is going to be coming out very soon. It's going to be released on the 31st of July, and it actually is going to be tonight. I believe many of us will be able to get it on Alamo Draft House as a rental as of midnight tonight. But the movie's called Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison. If you follow Romany Malco, he is on A Million Little Things. This gentleman has been in The 40-Year-Old Virgin, the movie Baby Mama. But if you don't know him well, he's really just an overall amazing human being who's very in touch with his community, with others, and helping others achieve their very best. In this particular movie, Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison, it is him and Regina Hall. And this movie touches on some things that a lot of times really get ignored. You know, we talk about people's successes. We talk about people once they make it to the mountaintop. You know, a lot of times the media portrays, especially the Black community, while we're at the bottom, or either just the success story after we've made it to the mountaintop. But what's skipped over and over and over again is the psychological process it takes to get from the bottom to that mountaintop. And so for Transformational Thursday, I really wanted to spend some time and talk about this movie because it aligns with everything that I believe in. It aligns with everything that I coach on or that I teach on in this podcast. One of the primary quotes from the movie that really stands out is, "Your pain should be the pathway to your purpose. Don't seek success, seek purpose." And in my coaching, what I find is a lot of people get stuck in the pain portion and are upset because they haven't reached the success. But your success can't happen without your purpose. And going back a few moments prior, your pain is the pathway to your purpose. This particular movie talks about a gentleman who's been to prison. He's coming out, he's working on being a motivational speaker and a life coach. And it's hilarious, but there's some very serious things here that are addressed because we always skip over the process through trauma. We always skip over the process through illness, the process through crisis, through abuse, and all of those things that we have to process our way through. The people that I work with, the people that I coach and that I deal with, they are often stuck in the pain. They're self-loathing because they haven't reached the mountaintop, but they haven't processed the trauma. They haven't processed the abuse. They haven't processed the pain. So they're stuck and unable to get on that pathway to success. The movie presents everything in a hilarious manner, but there's still a lot of lessons to be learned that are in this film. So I definitely want everyone listening to make sure that you support that. It's going to be coming out fully on the 31st of July. It is available on all platforms. And I know from looking at the website, you can actually go tonight at midnight and watch it through Alamo Draft House from your own home, since I know we're all self-quarantining. You know, and in the Black community and the communities of color, mental health is just not something that's discussed. I'm a very involved advocate of suicide prevention. It's a cause very dear to my heart. But mental health in communities of color, among the Black community, is something that's not discussed. In movies, in the media, our communities are portrayed in a very negative light. But what's never talked about is the lack of resources, the lack of mental health resources, the lack of healthcare resources, the lack of support, the breaking down of the family structure. Those things are not talked about in the media. They're not talked about in the movies. So when you go to the movies, you either get we're the bottom of the barrel, we're the lowest of the lows, or you get the success story without any of the process of the in between, that pathway through pain, that paved pathway through all kinds of hell that people have endured to reach that place of success. And that message crosses every race. That message crosses every form of trauma. It doesn't matter what you've been through. For myself, it was brain surgery and septic shock and breast reconstruction, and even domestic violence when I was growing up. And the fact is, people go through absolute hell. People go through pain. It can be physical, it can be illness, it can be abuse, it can be a rape, it can be addiction, whether it's personal addiction or growing up with addiction in the family. It could be growing up around violence or around gang violence. It could be any number of those things that cause pain, cause trauma, cause PTSD. And it's really easy to just linger and stay in the pain, especially when you have trauma and PTSD involved. And there's a lack of mental health resources or a stigma that you shouldn't see a therapist or a counselor or a coach or somebody to help you work your shit out. But the fact of the matter is, your success can't happen unless you follow the path to your purpose. The path to your purpose is not going to always be straight and narrow. The path to your purpose is going to be filled with barriers, obstacles, thorns, hurt, pain, weakness, loss. But your pain is your pathway to your purpose. Don't focus on your success. Focus on your purpose, because your purpose is, in fact, the key to your success. There's no success for you without knowing your purpose. And sometimes your purpose doesn't happen without your pain. I know in my case, it didn't. I didn't find my purpose as a life coach until I spent literally 6 years going through hell with my health, almost dying due to septic shock, losing both my breasts, being sexually assaulted. But I'm still standing. And nobody wants to talk about those things. So many times people bury the hell that they've been through, the pain that they've endured, the trauma that they've endured. They don't deal with it. And they get stuck wondering why success never comes. But success can't come if healing doesn't. And healing can't come until you process your pain. Your pain it's an obstacle, it's a barrier, but it's still the pathway to your purpose. If you can find the strength to work through it. It's not easy. It's hard as hell. Sometimes it cuts and it bleeds. But if you can work through your pain, you can get on the pathway to your purpose and ultimately have success. So for Transformational Thursday, I want everybody that hears this to make sure you go to the website www.tijuanajackson.com. I will actually be posting it in the information from this episode. The movie stars Romany Malco. He wrote the movie, he directed the movie, and he is starring in it. He's co-starring with Regina Hall from Girls Trip. She's an amazing and phenomenal actress. We're all very proud of her, and she's amazing in this film. The two of them have an amazing chemistry. They are hilarious, and there are a ton of laughs in this movie. And it's needed, even though the undertones and the lessons are very serious. The laughter is needed because so many people won't go see a movie that's just there to teach a lesson. They need to be entertained. So let me tell you that although it touches on some very serious issues that are so often overlooked in the movies and in the media, it is hilarious, it is entertaining, and this movie has my full support. I encourage everybody listening today to take a moment and reflect on what your pain is. Even make a list of what's hurting you, what's hurt you in the past, what's hurting you now. And don't be afraid to work on it. If you're not on the path to your purpose, it's okay. You can work on your pain for now and hopefully find your way to that pathway. Because just like Tijuana Jackson said, your pain is the pathway to your purpose. Don't focus on your success. Focus on your purpose. And I'll add to that if you focus on your purpose, success is going to find you, no matter how hard you try to hide from it. So I want to give a shout out to Romany Malco and congratulate him on completing this project that he put his heart into, blood, sweat, tears, and money, and pulling it off. Shout out to Regina Hall, his co-star, who did an incredible job in this film. I am so excited to support it and so excited for the message that it brings about the things in our communities that often get overlooked, the lack in our community that often gets overlooked, or the fact that everybody just wants to talk about the success story when someone gets to the top of the mountain, but never wants to talk about the psychological process that it took to get there, because the psychological process is in fact the hardest part. It's the part that gets talked about the least, but it's the hardest part. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed this podcast today. Again, shout out to my boy Romany Malco for this amazing film, Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison. Make sure you follow him on Instagram and on Facebook. You have Tijuana Jackson also on Instagram for sure. Go to the website, www.tijuanajackson.com. If you like the information that you have heard here with me on this particular podcast or any others, be sure to like, to comment, to share, and to follow. You can find me on both Facebook and Instagram at Moving Mountains Coach, or you can go to my website, which is www.movingthemountains.net. I am still offering free coaching sessions and assessments. Reach out to me. I'm happy to do a coaching session with you. Follow us. Make sure you watch this film. Make sure that you follow it on all social media. Go to the website. I promise you, you will not regret it. You're going to learn some valuable lessons, but you are going to bust a gut laughing in the process because Romany is just that funny. I thank you for all of your time. I don't take it lightly that you took time here with me today. And remember, every mountain can be moved if you are willing to take the first step.